Hi.
Welcome back to the channel. My name is Carolyn. Thank you so much for being here. And today I have a very special guest, my mom. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you.
I just thought it would be fun to kind of have a little sit-down video and talk about my experience growing up with obesity and then your experience as my mom dealing with all of that.
Okay, now I'm gonna start crying. Okay, yeah.
So if this is your first video of mine, my name's Carolyn. I had gastric bypass surgery in 2020, and since then I've lost 230 pounds with the help of gastric bypass, and then I also added in a GLP-1 medication in September of 2022, which I'm still currently on. And yeah, I've dealt with obesity pretty much my whole life. I would say I started to recognize it when you and my dad got separated around like 7 or 8 years old. That's when I started to feel like I was bigger and heavier than everybody else and started engaging in behaviors of like sneaking food, hiding food, and stuff like that. And it just progressed. Do you think that that happened at the same time? Because I've heard you say when I was a baby or like a little kid that a doctor told you I needed to lose weight.
Yes. I mean, you were a chubby child. I never really saw you as overweight when you were a child, but coming to this doctor and he said, no, she needs to lose a couple of pounds. And I was flabbergasted. I mean, you know, because you grow into it too. Yeah. And I just think it was very harsh of him to say that.
Yeah.
But I mean, you were always happy for food. I mean, you never said no. I mean, you know, it was like you just ate and ate and ate.
Yeah.
And there was no stop, basically. So I had to see what other children ate and try to put that on your plate so that was what you could eat.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So do you think, like, looking back on it now and with knowing everything that you know that I've been through, do you think at that young of an age that there was some kind of appetite dysregulation in my body with like the way my hormones are in terms of like being able to recognize am I full versus not being full compared to like a typical normal person?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yes. I mean, I could see other children, I mean, they had one of those and then they were like, didn't pick, and you always cleaned your plate. I mean, you always cleaned it. And I mean, I know whenever we went out to eat, it wasn't that you were allowed to order whatever you wanted. I mean, it would have to be soup one day or, you know, and salad. So we had to do variation of the food and not, I mean, try to stay away from fried food. French fries. I mean, try to eat healthy, but still let you eat. Yeah. Sort of. Yeah. I mean, that's, you know, that was my thinking about it all. I never let you starve.
No.
No. I mean, you did get food. I mean, you wanted to
and
eat.
I think like it wasn't until I was probably my teenage years where it was more pointed of like you should stay away from this food or this like fried food or you should eat less of this.
Well, that was also when we had moved to Sweden, right?
Yeah.
Because then we ate a lot healthier there.
We did, yeah.
And you did lose weight there.
Well, I was a lot more active because I was biking to school or walking to school. And like, so we moved to Sweden when I was 10 years old after my parents divorced. My mom is Swedish and still lives there. And so Sweden is a much smaller country and it's built and its infrastructure is more friendly to like walking around, biking around, public transportation, that kind of thing. And we lived in a city.
Yes.
So like walking to school, that was very normal. Biking to school was normal. Like I biked with my friends to school. We biked downtown. I was much more active. And then every break that I had in school, so we had like a fall break, winter break, summer break, and a spring break. All those breaks, I would go back and stay with my dad, who lived in America. And I think the summers were the worst.
Oh God.
Because I was gone for like 2 months.
Yeah.
And I would gain like 20 pounds.
Yeah.
So I would do really well in Sweden during school and like eat pretty, I mean, I was still binging and hiding and doing all those behaviors that like were not great, but it was less apparent in my weight because I was so active.
Yes. Yeah.
But when I went to America, I was barely active. Like we lived in such a rural area that, you know, I wasn't doing any activity hardly. I was inside watching TV most days, quite honestly.
And then also it's easier just to sit and eat.
Yeah.
Because you didn't really have that when I was home. Mm-hmm. I found your wraps and plates under the bed.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? But then you also didn't have that much money that you could buy all the things that you wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a certain allowance and that went pretty quickly, and then couldn't do it anymore, so.
Yeah. I engaged in some really, I don't want to say bad behaviors, but really damaging behaviors growing up in terms of like hiding and sneaking food and binging. Like I binged several times a week probably growing up and would hide food, like my mom alluded to, finding wrappers. I would stuff wrappers, candy wrappers, chocolate wrappers under the bed, in drawers, in old purses.
Yeah.
I was very sneaky about it.
Well, and I didn't realize it until pretty late.
Really?
Well, I mean, I knew already. I found it when you were like 10, 11. But I didn't think it was that, you know, because you were allowed to have candy on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And I didn't know.
It's just a very common, like, Swedish thing. Like, it's...
Yeah, candy is allowed on Saturdays,
yeah.
Basically. That's when you go to the candy store and you get your things, and then you have that on Saturday, and then you don't eat candy all week, basically. So, but I don't know how you were able to get that candy, but it wasn't in that large of a scale as it became 2-3 years later.
Yeah, when I was older, like probably 16 or 17.
Well, I would say 15. 15. Well, I mean, also, when you were like 14, you did lose a lot of weight.
Yeah, I lost like 30 pounds.
Yes.
In a very unhealthy way, though.
Yes. I thought it was healthy. I mean,
at the time,
she was sneaking it all.
I joined this gym, and they were doing a program with this trainer where you would get these soups.
Yeah.
And they're these terrible, disgusting powder soups that you mix with water. And that's all you eat, basically. You have 2 soups, like one for breakfast, one for lunch, and then you have a small dinner of like a protein and a vegetable or something.
Yeah.
And I think looking back, it's very easy to see now that level of over-restriction is what led to more binging.
Probably. Because you weren't allowed to have food. I mean, I discussed this with doctors. I mean, we went to
this was 15 years ago. This was when like that kind of thing was so popular. Like everybody was doing it.
Yes.
Like multiple people you knew had done it. Mm-hmm. So doctors were recommending it. And I think also there was...
also you need a certain permission because you were so young.
Yeah.
But since you were so overweight, they thought it'd be a good way. And I mean, it wasn't the whole time you were supposed to do that. It was like the first week.
Yeah.
And then gradually start eating slow. It was just to get the first week going.
Yeah.
And then you would eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and with snacks. But yeah. And I mean, you were so happy that you had lost those 30 pounds. I mean, she tried on clothes and did all these things.
I felt great. Well, and I was also working out. We were going to the gym together.
Yeah, we were going to the gym.
And then my best friend, Julia,
Yes.
was going with me. And she was kind of on her own. She wasn't as heavy as I was, not nearly.
No.
She was a little...
Pudgy.
Than all of our other friends who were like super skinny.
Yeah.
So her and I kind of found that companionship of being able to go to the gym together and work out. And like, I remember being able to run 1 kilometer on the treadmill. So I was working out a lot and I was trying to follow this diet. And I feel like I would follow it for a few days and then I would binge, and then I would feel really guilty, and then, I don't know if you knew this, but I would starve. Like, I wouldn't eat for the next day or two. Like, usually before weigh-in.
Yeah.
And then, so the weigh-in, it would seem like I lost, and then usually the day after, I would binge again, and then go back through that cycle over and over again. So.
Well, I mean, I guess that's very typical.
I think so.
Yeah.
I
mean,
did it
people
when I was
that
on
do
Weight
have
Watchers
that problem.
too. Like when I was in college and I did Weight Watchers again, I would be really good those first few days.
And then binge.
And then starve.
Yeah.
Right before weigh-in and then binge again.
Yeah. And starving is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
Because basically, I mean, once you start eating breakfast in the morning, that's when you start your metabolism.
Yeah. I was in a really bad, vicious cycle of like, either I was binging or really restricting or potentially starving myself. But I felt good at the same time, but I was also young. I was like 15.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with my experience also, then I could say that when I grew up, I always heard that I needed to lose 20 pounds. Or you are so pretty, but you need to lose 20 pounds. I heard that my whole life.
Me too.
I know, and it
but
just
not from you though.
No, I mean, because I would never say that to you.
No.
Because how I grew up.
Yeah.
I mean, I had friends of friends and just strangers that could come up to me and say, "Oh, you need to lose 20 pounds because you're so pretty." And I was like, "Yeah, thank you." I mean, it's not the easiest thing, and I guess that's what led me into, but I was basically in my 30s when I started
dieting and exercising.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I would say from what I could remember, you over-exercised. Like you were so into it.
Yeah. Because then I could eat.
Right.
No, I mean,
but
we
that's
have
kind
it.
of
Yeah.
like how you compensate for it.
Right. I mean, I would give myself permission to eat that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when you have people telling you the whole time that you are overweight, it's like a mantra in your head all the time. Whenever you start eating, it's like, okay, are they going to think I'm eating too much? Are they going to think this? I mean, I'm sure you had that in your head the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of growing up, it felt like the only conversations I had with family was about my weight. Like nothing else that I was doing, whether it was in school or with my friends or anything like that, it always felt like it was just, okay, but what are you doing about your weight? And it was always under the guise of like, and I understand there was a lot of worry for my health, and also because Murphy was diabetic.
Right.
And so my grandpa, my mom's dad, who's no longer with us, he had diabetes really badly, and ended up having both of his legs amputated, because he just didn't
do what he was supposed to do.
Right. So there was always a lot of concern from my other set of grandparents and my dad that could be because like genetic factors, and like because I was overweight, I was so much more at risk for diabetes. So that was constantly like just on repeat all the time.
Well, I mean, what I tried to do is, I tried to get professional help for you.
We did. We went to like, when we first moved to Sweden, we saw a nurse.
Yes.
I don't remember if it was like every month or something.
No.
We would go and...
Well, first we saw a doctor, and then he referred us to this nurse, and you were supposed to go weigh in, and also it was like, what are you eating, and stuff like that. We both thought she was worthless.
Yeah.
She wasn't really...
It was more of like, okay, we took your weight, tell me what you're doing. Okay, goodbye.
Right. And they had like an exercise program that we went to.
And a diet. I remember we did like a diet, like a nutrition class.
Yes, we did that too. Oh yes, we did that too.
Which I thought partially, all I remember was her showing us a big glass of sugar.
Yeah.
And that's what they really focused on, was like the sugar in everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was, so the way I think of nutrition now is, instead of trying to remove as much out of my diet as possible, I'm thinking about, okay, well, what can I add so that those things that that don't make me feel good, like fried food, candy a lot, like those things naturally eliminate from the diet on a daily basis, because I'm focusing so heavily on protein and vegetables and fruit and like whole grains and stuff like that.
But that has also been so much better in all of our costs of eating, that stay a little bit lower with the carbs, eat more protein and vegetables. That has been a lot more lately, that you should eat that.
Yeah.
But when you were growing up, it wasn't the LCHF, that's what they call, right?
Low carb, high fat.
Right. That came a little bit later.
Yes. So it's very similar to like keto diet, which I tried.
Yes. Yeah.
And like the paleo, where I was only really eating like meat and vegetables and stuff. Wow. I tried everything.
Yes.
And I still think like there is, for a lot of people, like a lower carb, higher protein, higher fat diet tends to work. And that's sort of naturally what I gravitate towards. But I think what's changed in recent years has been less demonizing against carbs, that like carbs are bad and that you shouldn't have them at all.
Well, it gives you energy too, so
it's need just it. Choosing the carbohydrates that make you feel the best.
Right.
Like you don't want to be eating candy and sugar and like all those things, and like refined things. Like you don't want to eat pasta every day, but it doesn't mean pasta is bad.
No, it's not.
So I think that messaging has changed a lot since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Because back then it was like no carbs.
Yeah. And I remember when I woke up, I could wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning and just in a panic. I had anxiety, a panic attack. Mm-hmm. And I would go into her room and just lay down with her and crying. I was like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? How can I help you?
Yeah.
It
felt very hopeless because like the hard thing was I felt like I knew what I needed to do, but there was something that couldn't let me do all the things that I needed to do until I had bariatric surgery and being on the medication.
I know, and I mean, it was a huge decision for you to actually do this surgery too. I mean, it was back and forth. Should I try, because you had tried so many times to lose weight without this. I mean, you have tried so many other things. And I mean, I know we talked and I said, go for it.
Yeah, and you were the only person I told that I was going to go on the consultation.
Yeah.
And I think it was, so I had my consultation in October of 2019 because I got my new job out of college in August that year.
Right.
And I finally had insurance that covered it because I was on Dad's insurance before when I was in college. And I had looked into it when I was like 21 or something, but it wasn't covered. And it's a $20,000 procedure. There's no way I could have done that. So I had this new insurance and I called and the only thing that was covered was gastric bypass, which is what I wanted. And so I called you, I think it was in September, I had found the surgeon that I wanted to go see. And you told me I should do it.
Well, I just wanted you to have life. I just wanted you to have a normal life. And I mean, so many years have passed by anyways, and you needed to have your youth. I mean, I saw you at college. I mean, it was devastating to see you walking down with your gown and you didn't walk, you waddled. No, but I mean,
at that point, so just for context, at that point I had gotten to 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Like I would say most of from like 18 to 22, I hovered around like 300 to 325 pounds. But it was my last 2 years of college where I really just sort of had I just didn't know what to do, and I kind of just said, I'm just done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not gonna try and diet, I'm not gonna try and restrict anything. So I ended up binging a lot, and I gained 100 pounds in like a year, which was hard. I think obviously hard for me, obviously hard for the people around me, because I wasn't comfortable in my body. It was very hard to move around. I could hardly brush my hair. I was depressed. Yeah. Well, I had gotten off of Stupid Me, thinking that I could heal my hypothyroidism with food. I got off my medicine. Yeah. And I think that contributed a lot to the depression and just not being able to, not gain weight. So gastric bypass definitely seemed like it was the only answer at that point. Like
absolutely.
It had to happen.
Absolutely.
So then, I went in for my consult. It went really well. He agreed that gastric bypass was the best thing to do. And he wanted me to lose 20 pounds before he did the surgery. So to help with that, he put me on phentermine, which is, it's not like the GLP-1 that I'm on, but it's like a similar thing. And that actually helped a lot. And I was able to lose the 20 pounds and I had to see like a dietitian several times. I had to go see a psychologist to get evaluated there so he could sign off on it and basically go through all of these hoops for insurance purposes and for the doctor to make sure that everybody was okay, like making such a big decision and having this surgery. And so I'd lost all the weight by February of 2020, and I scheduled surgery for March 16th, 2020, which was the very start of COVID.
Right, and I had my flight.
Yeah, my mom was supposed to come over and stay with me and help me, and unfortunately, like, it wasn't an issue of you coming over, it was whether you could get out of the country.
No, well that too, but they canceled the flights.
Oh, right, yeah.
All the flights were canceled, so the day before, I find out that I can't fly.
Yeah.
So I couldn't come.
So, but luckily I had my brother.
Yeah.
And I had my aunt in the area, and so they were able to help me. And that started the journey.
I know, and I can't tell you how proud I am, and I'm so happy. I know. I mean, look at you. You've gotten your life.
I know.
And I mean, it's so funny because you also met your husband.
Yes.
While you were still in the process of losing weight.
Yes.
And I mean, how much have you lost since you met him? 50?
Like 50 or 60.
Yeah. So, I mean, he loved her for her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, definitely a lot has changed in the last 5 years for sure, which is crazy.
I know, I can't believe it's been 5 years.
It really doesn't feel like it.
No.
Well, so it was 2 years, I want to say, before we even saw each other after I had surgery. A year and a half,
Yes,
2
because
years.
of the COVID. We weren't allowed in, right.
I think I came to Sweden in 2021, in November.
Yes, you did.
So that was the first time you saw me.
Yeah.
What did you think, if you remember? Because at that point, I had lost 180 pounds.
Yes. I mean, I was ecstatic. I mean, it was great to see you. I mean, you were still pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it wasn't anything near what I saw when I came to see you do your graduation from college.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, it was just positive, and then also knowing that that was not the end of the journey.
Yeah.
And the thing is, your journey never ends because it's a lifelong commitment.
Yeah. I was just talking about this on my Instagram about how, so like you hear often that gastric bypass and like any kind of weight loss surgery is, people say it's like, it's a tool.
Right.
Which I think is fair. Like it is a tool, but I think it's better. I heard someone else say that we shouldn't call it a tool because obesity is a chronic illness, and without continuous treatment, it relapses.
Right.
So gastric bypass is really a treatment for obesity.
Yes.
And then also the GLP-1 medication is a continued treatment. And do you have any thoughts? Or, because like sometimes I get people asking like, well, why are you on a GLP-1 medication if you've had gastric bypass?
Well, I think for me, for you to be on GLP, it's still helping you. Mm-hmm. Also, it helps you monitor your eating habits. I mean, imagine you've had 25 years, or let's say 20 years of bad eating habits.
Yeah. And that's just ingrained in you, sort of like that dysregulation. So really the medicine, I always say that the surgery helped reset my stomach. Mm-hmm. And then the medication helps reset my brain daily. Right. And I think, I don't think everybody needs both, or even either of them. Like some people are successful with diet and exercise alone, but a very, very small percentage.
Yeah. I mean, I know several people that has done gastric bypass or sleeve, but that are having problems. I mean, up and down. More so because they don't continue the correct eating.
Right,
habit.
But it also reaffirms the fact that it is a chronic illness, because you can't, there's only so much fighting against your own biology and physiology that you can do. Like
Right.
when I was in my stall for that year and a half before I started the GLP-1, I was like, it felt like I was fighting just to stay where I was, let alone even lose any more weight.
Well, it's also with your thyroid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not...
It's like way harder.
Right.
And so like people who have PCOS or other illnesses like that, it's just those metabolic issues. It's just 10 times harder, it feels like, to even... So it's very defeating because like you feel like you're doing everything right and your body still says no.
Right.
And like I think you understand that too, because like you have gone up and down with your weight too.
Yeah. And I do exercise. I mean,
yeah, we talk every day, and she's like, I just went to the gym.
Yeah, but I mean, I still have, and I mean, I've tried to check with my thyroid, but I don't know. They haven't found anything yet. But I really believe that
it could be menopause, though.
Well, right now it is. Right now it is menopause.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, my body, I don't recognize my body myself. I mean, it's changing daily, it feels like. Doesn't matter what I do.
Yeah.
But, no, it's a struggle with weight all the time. You just have to do the best you can.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, I was sick a couple of months, cold after cold after cold, couldn't go to gym. And what do? Oh yeah, I gained some weight. I gained, 12 pounds right there.
Yeah.
And I guess, when I exercise, I can eat. I mean, but then when you don't exercise, you keep on eating the same food.
Yeah. And
then suddenly you gain weight, and I gain weight very easily. So, and I think
I do too.
That's also, I mean,
I feel like, but I also fluctuate so much in my weight too, like throughout the month on my cycle.
Yeah.
Like I fluctuate 7 to 10 pounds, which is crazy.
Wow, that's a lot.
I know.
Yeah.
And like some people I know, like they stay within the 2-pound range all month long, and I'm like,
well, I could probably say 4 or 5 pounds for me when I had. Yeah. So it's...
I mean, it's not always 7 to 10 pounds. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but it's definitely more like...
And the cravings you get too. Yes. I mean, I had extreme cravings when I was going to have my period.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just...
Which is why the GLP-1 helps so much, because it really helps keep that regulation in check.
Yeah.
But then it's also interesting because like when I'm on my actual period, my appetite is so low.
Yeah.
But that's like the normal fluctuation of the hormones that I've read.
I know.
Like,
gain, lose. No, but I mean,
well,
and it should, what you want to be level with it all.
No, sometimes I feel like I mean, I've said this, but all my life I feel like I just look at a piece of cake and I gain 5 pounds.
Me too. No, I mean, it's like, I don't know how you have it at work, but, they bring in cookies, they have cake.
It's not as bad at this office than my new job. No. Because we have a cafe, but it's on the 9th floor, and you have to buy everything. Like, nothing's free. But at my old job, they had like a break room where they had like snacks and stuff that were free, so you could just take.
I know, and it's so easy just to walk past, and then you just grab one thing, and then you walk. Oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll take another one. And once you get that little sugar in you, you just want more. Yeah.
Well, and it's also like in the bariatric world, we call them slider foods. So like chips and crackers, things that when they're in your stomach, they break down so easily, they just kind of slide through. There's no substance to them. No. So like a lot of the dietitians will recommend, like if you're gonna have chips or crackers or something, pair it with cheese or a fruit or just something to like give it more satiety. Yeah. So that it doesn't just slide through the stomach. But like that's one of the things that I think a lot of people on a bariatric, like on a weight loss journey, whether you're using weight loss surgery or weight loss medications, whatever, is like learning those different tricks. Because even now, like having had surgery and being on the GLP-1 medication, if I have a bag of chips, I can almost eat that whole bag of chips. If I really wanted to,
yeah,
I could.
But the best thing is, I mean, here you have the smaller bags.
Yeah.
And you just have to limit yourself and get the small bag. And it's like, yeah, I ate the whole bag. No, but I mean, it's like, yeah. But I mean, it's just, I mean, there are options to do certain things. Instead of getting the big chips bag, get the small one. And you can limit yourself certain ways.
And it's less of like restricting yourself and more of saying like, I get to make the choice.
Yeah.
And it's staying mindful of like, I know these foods make me feel better.
Oh, yeah.
I know these foods make me feel worse.
Well, I mean, it's like when you eat potato chips, for instance. I mean, afterwards, you don't feel good about yourself.
No.
You start like, why did I eat this? Why did I do that?
Yeah, but then you don't want to let that shame and guilt.
No. And that's the thing. I ate it, and what can I do about it?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
I have...
Yeah.
A question I get a lot from parents of, like, usually teenage girls, they always ask me, like, what would you wish your parents had done differently? Or was there anything, do you think, in your childhood that could have been done differently? And my answer is always, like, I think it's very complicated because I think you and Dad and everybody around me did the best they could with the information that they had.
I agree.
Like, I think if we knew what we know now, I think things would might have been different.
Well, I think that's also generation. I mean, it's like what my parents did, I said I wouldn't do to you.
Yeah.
And then I did something else, and you know, I did what I thought
was right.
I didn't want to put any blame on you. I didn't want to put shame on you.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get so frustrated.
Yeah.
I mean,
because there's no way for you really to help me other than to like.
I can talk. What am I going to do? I'm going to sit and feed you. I mean, no. I mean, it's like, use your brain.
Yeah.
No, but I mean,
but I was also a kid.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think a lot of things changed for me when I did become adult. Like, I had surgery when I was 25, and I think if I'd had surgery any earlier, I don't think I would have been as successful as I am.
No, because you weren't.
I wasn't ready.
No.
Mentally, emotionally, like I remember researching gastric bypass in my early 20s. And like having such a visceral reaction of like, I can't give up food.
No.
Like not that I couldn't give up food, I can't give up binging yet.
Right.
I needed it.
You weren't ready.
Yeah.
And I think that's also a lot of people, they think, okay, I'm just going to do this gastric bypass. They don't think about the consequences. You can't really say consequences but this is the new lifestyle that I have. You have to change so much in everything. It's physically, it's mentally. I mean, I know some people that have done the gastric bypass and they lost weight so fast that mentally they didn't grasp it all.
Yeah, I think that's a big struggle that people have, and it's one reason why definitely my 1.5 year long stall was incredibly frustrating, but I also think it was very beneficial for my brain to allow for that time to catch up with like this. You've lost 180 pounds. Take a second and just enjoy that. And like, even though there were days where it really felt like I was fighting just to stay where I was, I really think that having that time of, I call it a stall, but I really think it was a period of just maintaining my weight, which I had never done.
Right.
And I think that was so powerful. It's like, wow, this whole year and a half, I've been able, within a 10-pound range, I was able to maintain my weight, and never in my life have I
know,
ever.
and that was a win for you just to do that.
Yeah.
And which is just amazing.
Yeah.
So and then, you know, you get used to that, and then it's like, oh, I'm gonna.
Yeah, and then I was really ready to, like, okay, I was frustrated because I felt like I was trying everything, and then getting on the GLP-1. And it took a year for me to lose that 50 or 60 pounds.
I know, but I think that's the healthy way to do it.
Yeah.
Instead of just like, okay, now I'm going to lose it all in 3 months. Mm-hmm. I think it's better just to, because you get your head straight, you get your body, and you get to know it, what it can and can't do.
Yeah.
So I think you've done a nice journey, and you really conquered it so great. I love you.
And just one last question. What do you think of my recent plastic surgery?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I mean, you know, she's my daughter, and I have to say, I'm happy about it. I mean,
I showed you my boobs when you got here.
I was like, yeah, I'm jealous. I want some too. But I mean, just seeing her with all this overflow of skin. Oh, what can I say? Well, I mean, there was a lot of excess, overflow, excess skin.
Yeah.
You know, it was hard for her to wear pants and get things to fit so well. I mean, her upper body looks so great, but then she had that pouch.
Yeah.
Or poochie. I mean, it was big. Because, well, what do you call it when it's a little bit, little bit bigger than a pouch? Is a poochie. But I mean, and now it's like, gosh, it looks so good in jeans and pants and skirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's the one who gave me my pouch.
Your mom pooch?
Yeah, my mom pooch. So, yeah, I need some plastic surgery too, just to get that away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh well.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
I'm so glad we could do this, because I feel like it was nice to hear your perspective on things.
Well,
and like you've been with me every step of the way. Like we talk every single day.
Yes.
Even though we don't, like, she obviously lives in Sweden, which is hard. But thank God for FaceTime.
I know, it's amazing, because I mean, I see you every day, so, you know, coming here,
kind of like, okay.
I know, it's like, when I come here, well, I saw you yesterday, so, but
exactly,
it's different to be
in person,
hugging and touching, and so that's great.
Yeah.
I love you. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I'm proud of you. Just to go back to the topic of, like, would you changed anything or done anything? I mean, I don't know what I could have done. I mean, honestly, I don't know what I could have done, because a part of me really feels like I had to go through all of that.
Yeah.
To get where I am.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know as a parent what you can do differently. I mean, I would have put you in a box and just feed you.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think one thing I do tell people is not to make it a big deal. Like, I know you, like, experienced, everybody would always say, like, if you just lose 20 pounds. I think for me, if less people had made it such a topic of conversation.
Well, it's so amazing that strangers actually can come up to you and say, you know, I mean, acquaintances, let's say acquaintances can come up and say, oh, you're so pretty, but you do need to lose some weight.
And that's just the older generation, I feel like. I never experienced that.
No.
It was always from people who were very close to me.
Yeah.
And maybe behind my back people said things, but I didn't.
I know. Well, that's also
And I
one
feel
thing
like-
that you feel like all the time
Yeah.
when you are overweight,
Yeah.
that people are talking behind your back. You meet them and talk to them, and then sort of, I mean, it's sort of the shame,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
that you feel.
Yeah.
Because you can always feel them looking over you. I mean, looking at you.
Judging you.
And yes.
Well, and that's why it was so hard to eat around people.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like, oh, did they think I shouldn't eat, or I should be eating a salad? Or if I was eating a salad, maybe they're thinking, oh, she thinks she's trying to lose weight and all this, she should just eat a burger.
Yeah.
It's just it was a lot.
Yeah.
So.
No, I know. And I still, that stigmatism is there.
It's still there, yeah.
Yeah.
I catch myself sometimes not judging people who are overweight, but I definitely feel a lot of empathy, and I wonder, like, I catch myself wondering, are they doing anything about it?
Right.
And I don't think that that's my place to think that. I would never I would never tell anyone that.
Well, I mean, I can say the same. I mean, you see girls that are overweight, and it's like, oh God, I wish I could help.
Yeah.
I mean, what could I do? I mean, what are their parents doing to help out? Because, you know, it's going to come later on for them too.
And I think we think that way because we know what it feels like.
Yeah.
Like, I know what it's like to be 400 pounds. It's not fun at all. Like, it's very
we can
miserable.
laugh at it now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's not laughing at anybody who is 400 pounds. That's just not it. We're talking about her journey.
But I think when you go through it and you know what it's like yourself, you have a lot more empathy. I think there are a lot of people out there who look at people who are overweight or obese and they think it's just a matter of, like, you're just lazy. And that's one thing I heard a lot growing up too, was that I was lazy.
Yeah. And
that it was a willpower thing. And if I really wanted it, I would have done it already.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's always stuck with me of, like, well, why I do want it. Like, it was the one thing I wanted desperately out of anything.
Well,
why can't this work? And I think that for me just confirms that, like, it's not willpower. There was dysregulation in my body that where my stomach and my brain were not making the connection.
Right.
So
get it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that really has made me have a lot more empathy for people that are heavy. Mm-hmm. And if I talk to them and they ask about it, because I'm very vocal about what my daughter has gone through, and if they ask me things, I tell them, if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are also, you have to change your whole lifestyle.
You do.
I mean, I tell them.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of that, I do have an Instagram where I share a lot about my journey that you know about.
Yes.
And some of your friends know about.
Oh, I know, and they love it too. Yeah, I mean, they're so proud of you and just amazed how everything that you put out and how vocal you are about the journey that you made. Mm-hmm. And there are no restrictions whatsoever. I mean, you are you.
Yeah.
And everything is just like, you just tell the truth about what has gone on with you.
Yeah.
Which is good.
I'm trying.
And hopefully that will help a lot of people on
I hope so.
Way too.
It does. I mean, I get messages often of people who are inspired by it. And like, when I started sharing online, it was never my intention to, like, motivate or inspire other people. I really just needed a place to document my own journey. And I think, like, I always had a blog
Yes.
in school. I had a YouTube channel a few times.
I know you did. Yeah.
I was very into documenting and like writing and sharing my own story. So starting the Instagram, it felt very natural to like just document everything. And then through that, I think it's nice that I've been able to share my story and just have my story be an inspiration to people without trying to be that inspiration. Like, I'm just a girl sharing her story on the internet. I'm not trying to motivate. It just happens naturally.
Well, I think that's great because it's a lot of people can see what you have been through.
Yeah.
Which is good. And I mean, I remember the blogs that you had when you were younger and when you were big.
Yeah.
And you tried things and you were cooking and really trying everything. So
yeah.
And now it's just, it's a really good, I mean, what do you have now? Almost 69,000 followers on Instagram?
Yeah, I think it's at 69.1.
I know, that's great. High five. Yep. No, it's great. I mean,
it's exciting.
It's my daughter.
Yeah. No, I think like one of the reasons I'm incredibly grateful and thankful that I've had such an amazing support system like you and the family, because when I did tell you and everyone that I was going to have this surgery, it was never like, why are you doing that? You shouldn't do that. Oh, you're just going to gain all your weight back. Like, I really thought, especially Grandma and Grandpa, I really thought I was going to hear that. But I was really met with, like, I'm so happy for you. Yeah. And I wonder if that's just because I was, like, as heavy as I was at that point.
Well, I mean, I think they all wanted, me included, for you to have
a life.
And I mean, I'm not saying that people that are big aren't having a life.
No, but I think I held myself back a lot.
Right.
Because of it. And I wasn't my full self. I feel like even though I was heavy in school and stuff, I feel like I was very confident.
Oh, yes. I mean, you know, you held this speech at your graduation.
Yeah.
From high school. And, you know, you were very well liked by everybody.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could. I mean,
yeah.
You were just, it didn't put any limitations on you, which I think a lot of people put a limit on themselves.
Well, I think I did.
Well, yes, you did certain ways.
Yeah. But I think my personality still shined.
Well, you had some great friends too.
I did, and that's another thing I wanted to say. Like, I feel so lucky growing up that all of my friends, they never ever made it an issue. No. And now I'm gonna cry. But they just never, I was always accepted for exactly who I was.
And I remember your gym teacher coming up to me one night, out and about, and he said, I mean, I love your daughter, even though she is big, she is very athletic.
I am. I am.
Yeah.
Tell my husband that, because I literally am. I'm so athletic.
Yeah.
And that was the hard thing too, is like, I loved playing sports.
Yeah.
And I was like physically restricted from participating in a lot of that because I just couldn't keep up.
Right.
Like, I loved playing soccer. I loved being in PE. The only thing I didn't like was running. Yeah. Because I couldn't. It just was not easy. But no, I think one thing I always feel bad about is when people don't have a good support system and they're going through this journey. It makes it so much harder when people aren't in your corner. And that's another reason why I think social media is such a huge help, is because you can build relationships with people who are going through the same thing that you are. And you have.
I mean, you've had your support groups.
100%. Like, I've met some of the best people online through this journey. And like, I would not be here without them. So I think weight loss takes a village.
Yeah. Well, it does.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, I wouldn't be in this position without doctors who were willing to help me, without my family willing to be there regardless of whatever happens, like friends, and just, it takes everybody.
Well, I think it's great with support groups that,
Yeah.
you know, that you have. I mean, there are other illnesses that are worse.
Yeah.
They have awesome support groups, and where people can find strength.
Yeah.
Through. And I think that's what you need.
Yeah.
The strength to actually continue to know that you're on the right path.
Yeah. Because that one thing I notice is that, like, one thing too that has kept me going is sharing on my Instagram and documenting everything, because it's like I'm holding myself accountable. And I've noticed people who I met online when I first started, a lot of them I don't even know where they are anymore because they've stopped sharing. Yeah. And not to say that they've gained all their weight back or anything like that, but it's like, I think so much of it, if you're not in an environment where it's at least there in the back of your mind, like you're trying to still make good choices for yourself. Hello! It's very easy to fall back into habits and behaviors that don't serve you. Like, I know it's very easy for me to fall back into binging. Like, it could easily be something that I go
and
back
that's
to.
why you have the support.
Yeah.
I mean, and not only family, but the groups.
Yeah.
You know, that are behind there, and the groups that you have participated in.
Yeah, definitely.
So, which is good. I'm a little Aspen.
Yes. She's a chunky girl. She did like us. She's chunky.
You can't say that to her.
I know. I'm fat shaming my own dog. It's terrible.
Oh.
Okay, well, I think this video is very, very long. I appreciate you for hanging in, and thank you to my mom for being open to doing this with me. I just thought it would be really fun to get her perspective and to just have this conversation. So I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, leave a comment, subscribe.
Yes.
And yeah, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.